Game Freak made a mistake in Pokemon Sun and Moon. And no, I'm not talking about superfluous cutscenes or any of the Pokemon that ended up on your Hear Me Out cake. I'm talking about Bulbasaur. It might surprise you to hear that in Pokemon Sun and Moon, Bulbasaur does not learn one of its most iconic moves, Leech Seed. If we take a look at Bulbasaur's level up moves through the years, we can see this nice, consistent grouping of its familiar early game moves. Tackle, Growl, Leech Seed, Vine Whip. Tackle, Growl, Leech Seed, Vine Whip, all the way up through Generation 9, the gang's all here. And then there's Sun and Moon. In this game only, instead of learning Leech Seed, Bulbasaur learns Vine Whip twice. If we take a look at the Sun and Moon level up moves for Ivysaur and Venusaur, we see that both of them learn Leech Seed at level 7, and we can also see that this mistake was rectified in Sun and Moon's remakes. I have never heard anyone talk about this. I'm not sure anyone else knows, and there's a pretty good reason that hardly anyone has noticed this little error. And that's because it's just not going to come up for most people who play the game. Bulbasaur isn't obtainable in Sun and Moon except by transfer. So for this to ever come up, one would likely be breeding Bulbasaur for a shiny or a specific IV spread, but by the time they are doing this, they can easily evolve it and have access to the move reminder. How did I notice this? Well, I run randomized Nuzlocke challenges, and in almost every game, Bulbasaur is an incredible early pickup. As a relatively speedy Sleep Powder user with a starter's power curve, decent defensive typing, an early stab move, and early life gain, Bulbasaur is an absolute powerhouse of the early game. But Leech Seed is a big part of that. In my opinion, this little mistake bumps the Onion Frog from the S tier down into the B tier. You might think that's harsh, but because Leech Seed scales so well into the late game, this oversight hurts Bulbasaur's evolved forms as well. If you want to run a defensive or supportive set on Venusaur, Leech Seed is very likely to be in there. It's great at setting up a stall, mitigating switch-in damage, or chipping away at a Pokemon that walls you. Plus, it gives you Shedinja coverage. But here's the issue. Even though Ivysaur and Venusaur's level-up moves are correct, the move reminder isn't available in Sun and Moon until Mount Lanakila, right before you fight the Elite Four. Which means this unassuming little move, which Bulbasaur usually gets at level 7, isn't actually available until your run is almost over. Which is why, every time I see this little guy, I can't help but think about how